be in sachet. Anytime you see people reducing storekeeping units, SKU is what we call it. I hope you know that everything in Nigeria is becoming, is coming into nylons or sachet. Even vegetable oil has joined. Right? Remember, there was a particular milk company that said they will not do sachet milk when the other people came. You know they have done it now. Sir? They even have 2 varieties now. I didn't want to mention names. I don't want to mention names, you know, of brands. But I'm telling you that once you have people reducing the storekeeping unit, it means they are trying to cater to people who cannot afford it. The more the household income reduces, you want to make your storekeeping unit within a particular 100 naira is the figure now. You want to make sure that 100 naira, you know, I don't know how many of you have bought 100 naira bread recently. Please buy 100 naira bread. Honestly, it looks like you're carrying nothing. But they still want to keep it at what? 100 naira. I mean, bread, 100 naira bread now, honestly, it's just, I mean, 100 naira bread, you could almost put it in your nose. I like, yeah, I'm taking bread, honestly. But the point is they want to maintain that 100 naira is, you know. So household incomes have increased, especially with utilities. People are minding the way they use lights now. You are looking at the way you travel. You are looking at inflation. Before you replace something now, you ask yourself whether you can do what? You can repair it. You're asking yourself now, do I need to buy a new laptop? I mean, you walk around Nigeria now, and we're a very large Okrika market. You know, everybody's buying bend down select. Are you thinking about that in your business? So what business do you run that you think will not be impacted by the macro environment? Where taxes are going up, I hope you know. The country just said we're going to put what? Tolls on the trunk A roads. They said it is only 5% of the roads we have. Well, those are the roads we use. I have not been to Obubra and Ogoja in a while. So if they tax that road, I've not been to Bauchi, Saminanka, Jos in a while. I've not done Kaduna Funtua, Malumfashi in a while. I've not done Yobe, Taraba in a while. But Lagos Ibadan Expressway, come on. That's going to be taking my money every week. So, you know, when we do all of this, our gymnastics of creating our strategy, we don't look at these things. They come back to haunt us because a lot of things are, let me give you an example, spending patterns. When do businesses spend, when do businesses make money in Ibadan or in Lagos or in Osogbo or in Ogun State? It is when civil servants are paid. You can just use one index, leisure. End of the month, just go to Ring Road this night and look at the beer parlors and all the nightclubs. Just do a rough count. Wait till next week when salary drops. The reason is not because the salary earners are the ones there. It's because they all pay their agbese at the end of the month to people who sell computers, who sell laptops, who own schools, who own, and those ones say, let me take out 5,000 and flex. So you must understand spending patterns, no matter the business you're into. If you don't understand spending patterns, you can't create a cycle. You can't create a marketing cycle, and you cannot create a revenue cycle. Okay, then consumption patterns. How do people use what I am producing as a service or as a product? Now, the reason why this is important is you might want to have only one product, but you realize that if I have only one product, I'm in trouble. I would only make money in a particular cycle. So you then decide, oh no, Let me have a complementary product or even a competing product or a service. Now, let me use a very simple example. Have you seen the union between people who sell beans and the people who sell bread? They work together. So when you call only bread, the beans person will be like, and then you change your mind and like, let me reserve my soup forever in the afternoon. Only beans people, give me 100 naira beans. And then she opens something and you see fish, one fish. I mean, they are doing what we are speaking big English to do because they learned it by now. Consumption patterns and spending patterns. When you go to a supermarket, have you noticed that everything that could make you leave your house to buy in a supermarket is usually at the back? You don't know? Toothpaste, bleach, soap. So what do you see in front? Bread, biscuits, ice cream. Why? Their impulse purchases is designed. Spend patterns and consumption patterns. Now, when you come to the payment point, what do you see? Sweets. We call them change eaters. Chocolates. They keep calling your name. And then when you spend 3,800, if you've trained your cashiers very well, they tell you, sir, I don't have 200 naira. Maybe would you like to take one Snickers? And then if she asks very nicely, you take the Snickers. We've just worked on you spending patterns and consumption patterns. Part of creating that change is what makes us to put 50 over some things. 17,550. Even if you buy 10 of it, we'll still owe you change. So before you think about your strategy very well, think about your markets. I have people now who make Gary only for the London market. They make Gary here in Ibadan. I know people who make charcoal. By the way, the export business is one of the businesses to be in now because you get what? Forex. I was in a lorry last week and a friend of mine got paid 10,000 pounds for Gary. And I was very envious. But when he took me to his farm, my envy disappeared. Because the work involved, now that is part of, and that's what we'll do later when we look at, it takes a lot of work to export Gary to the UK. The standards that your Gary requires to meet are incredibly high, from moisture content to packaging. Product quality must be top-notch, handling, top-notch, sealing, primary packaging, secondary packaging. Just Gary. What about the one I talked about? Shea butter to the US. Money spinner. Honey is sold online. So I'm trying to let even people who are watching us from their offices and their homes realize that this is not about the architect gentleman who is here, but it's all about the business, that you make. I know people who make Ashoke basically for the international market. So you have to define your market. Am I for the local market? Am I for the international market? Then within that, where am I? Now, let me give you a very funny example. How many of you know that if you go to the UK and you buy yam, you're buying Ghanaian yam? Yes. For buying yam and they say Nigeria, you're buying Ghanaian yam. You know, Nigeria exported yam 4 years ago and it ended in a fiasco because not only did we not define our market, we did not define the quality we want, we did not define the size we want. I worked on some part of the project. I was in Ghana and I realized that they define their market so well that they have a box for the yam. There's a species, there's a particular variant of yam they plant. There is usually between 1 foot and 1.3. If it doesn't fit into that box, the farmer knows this yam is out of spec. So it is only the one that fits into that box that they submit to go to the UK, because that's the premium quantity. How much is that? £5. The same yam in Accra, Ghana won't sell for £1. So they define their market. It allowed them to understand, even in the UK, people don't buy big yam. They don't eat pounded yam. They don't eat yam porridge. Even that yam, that £5 yam, they eat it for 1 month. So if you don't understand all of these patterns, you create a website that is selling what people don't want, which is why we're saying with this pre-conference, let us help you look at the foundations of your business. Some of us have websites. We're even making noise on Facebook. We're spending money advertising on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Instagram. But what we are selling is not what people are buying. And we're asking you to come so we can dimension that strategy and realize, okay, what is driving your strategy and what are you really thinking about? Are you thinking of making money? Or you're thinking about making life better for, let's say, 1 million people who can buy things from you that is under $1, which is 500 naira. Imagine that 1 million people can buy something from you every month, just worth $1. I don't know if anybody has read a book, Casey Prahalad. It's called The Diamond at the Bottom of the Pyramid. It talks about not all of us are going to serve the rich. What a lot of us don't even know is that the rich get a lot of things free by virtue of being rich. But all of us can serve every other quadrant, every other, segment, and be rich doing it. I mean, you won't be Richard Branson, you won't be British Airways, but you can be EasyJet and still make money. So drivers of business, I hope I spent a lot of time on this. Your markets, your macro environment, important, because if the government were to jack up something today that takes away people's disposable income again, they will look at the things they can throw away in there. Let me give you a very simple example. I love cheese and I love very good butter. So I used to eat Anchor butter, very good butter. But then it used to be 2,200. I would buy. I have children who just, lap it up anyhow. I would buy and then tell them, don't go near my butter. That doesn't serve any purpose. They go there and finish it. Now, that same Anchor butter is 4,000 naira. So I remember shopping on Sunday after church, and I went to a particular place here in Ibadan, and I was asking myself whether I should put butter in the house. And I saw 4,200 naira, or maybe 500 grams of butter. I didn't buy. I told myself, why? Why am I running away from butter? Because of exchange rate. Cheese that I used to buy mozzarella cheese at 1,200. Do you know how much it is now? 4,500. So my Italian palate has disappeared. I've told myself I'm no longer Italian. So all of these things influence what you. Now let's look at people. Let me look at your organization. Let's change to people. People internally now. Now, what kind of people do you require to work with you and work for you? What skills do they require? What attitudes do you require? Do you know at a particular time, we used to hire people who didn't have anything to do with the phone. Now, the phone is the most preferred kind of customer service that we have around. Before a lot of you came, we were listening to a video that was talking about selecting people, not just recruiting them. Selecting people that are appropriate for the role. It is likely now that a lot of the good things that will happen to you in your life will happen over the phone, either by text or by voice. Your business should be so big on the phone that people don't know that it's just only two or 3 of you that run the business. Yes. Let me give you an example. There's a company in the UK. I don't want to mention their name. They're a Nigerian company. They operate out of the UK. They do, you know, if you want to send things back home in a container and all of that, they come and pick it up. They're a Nigerian company. If you call them, despite the fact that they're in the UK, you can hear the ambience of Idumota behind them. All sorts of things, you know. I remember I bought golf equipment from them and they misplaced it. And I called them in Nigeria, in Ikeja, and they said, they couldn't even put me on hold. One of them said, hold on. Tokwe, shit. Golf, show one in London. She couldn't put me on hold, so I could hear the ambience. Somebody was eating and saying, "Whoa, me right because and I was hearing all of that." And they told me they hadn't seen my golf equipment. I should call the UK. So I called the UK, and exactly the same culture, the same work culture was happening there. Then they told me maybe I should call the guy who sold me the stuff. I called Mark, and Mark's wife, and I didn't know it was his wife actually. He called himself Henry Pro. That is Henry Golf Pro. His wife answered the phone and said, Henry Golf Pro, good afternoon. How may I help you? So I spoke to her and she says, we dispatched it on so and so date. We dispatched it on so and so date. And I was very happy. I was like, okay, I was dealing with a world-class company. Guess what? When next I went to the UK, he invited me over because we had a fight before. He wasn't going to take payments from Nigeria until he was satisfied that I was a golfer gentleman and I will not swerve him. So he invited me to his house. So I went to his house and he had gone out. And I saw his wife in the kitchen, but she had a Bluetooth headphone on, and she was washing something in the, in the sink. And the call comes in through the Bluetooth, and she says, Henry Golf Pro, good afternoon. How may I help you? I'm like, Jesus Christ. So the two of them work from home. It is not a big organization. And that person says, I ordered something from some Eastern European country, maybe Hungary or Latvia. I said, could you hold on a minute while I check it online? And then she goes to the computer in the sitting room, same sitting room where I sat. And she quickly checks. Oh, do you know what happened? We sent it on the 3rd. And could you take this tracking number? And she gave the guy the tracking number and said, hi, you're his friend from Nigeria. He will soon be back. And I was like, that's the voice I've been listening to all the times I was buying. And I thought I was listening to somebody who was working in a big contact center. Now, that's the difference between a small company operating in a world-class environment. Forget the fact that they were in their home. In their mindset, they were working in a world-class environment. And then a big Nigerian company operating in the capital of global business, London. But in their minds, they were where? Oshodi. Okay? So, how do you get the kind of people who work for you and don't have the digital skills required for this post-COVID thing we're talking about? It starts from ordinary answering their phones. And there are some of us who are business people who don't even know how to answer our own phones. You know, some of us are CEOs. You know, by the way, everybody is a CEO in Nigeria, especially if you look on LinkedIn and Google. You know, that's why I was surprised when she told me I'm a student. I'm like, really? I mean, we should all be CEOs. But you call some people like that, how would you answer your phone like that? And let me tell you something. You know, we talked about strategy before. Your culture is going to eat your strategy. In fact, yes, it will eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And guess what? The culture usually mirrors the human being who heads it. Even if you don't talk about your customers in a derogatory way while they are there, but you talk about them in a derogatory way while your staff are there, your staff will treat your customers in that same way that you talked about them. Okay? So post-COVID, what is the work culture like? Are you thinking of getting a big office so that we will know that you have arrived? You are a joker. I made that mistake. You shouldn't make it. Why don't you have people work from their own homes? If you set their targets right, buy them data every month, let them do their work. You still want people to come to the office, so you have control. When other people are cutting down on, do you know MTN people have worked from home? Most of them have worked from home since February last year. Do you know how much they have saved in terms of air conditioning, diesel, staff bus? Do you know that now they have normalized it? They've normed it that this is how we work. They are no longer talking about work-life balance. They're talking about work-life integration. Imagine the person who built a house in Yanopaja before. They used to get to Yanopaja bus stop by 6 so they could join the staff bus and get to work by 8:30 in VI, in Falomo. Now that guy can actually wake up at 6 and do some work before everybody gets to work. And then he will go back and take a bath by 8 o'clock and then sit down and focus on today's task. You've got to be that nimble now, thinking post-COVID. You want to put people in one small shop that you have and become a super spreader. It's not going to work like that again. It has gone. In Ibadan here, one of the best spreaders of COVID that we had was one communications company. They had a contact center here. In one day, 34. The next day, another 34. All of them now are creating platforms that allow people to log in from their homes and do exactly what Mark Embry's wife is doing in the UK. Because, like I will show you now when I'm talking about distribution, the where is almost irrelevant now in business. The world is flat. Let me give you an example. You know, when they were teaching us the 4 P's of marketing, one of the ones they used to really talk about was place, right? Place. It is important. Like if you're talking about a high street brand, you've got to be on the high street. Or if you're talking about, you know, a roadside brand, you know, we use places where brands can be encountered, where services and businesses can be encountered. We use it to do what? To categorize businesses. Unfortunately, it has failed. Some of the businesses that are big now actually started from garages. So they have garage DNA. Now, we're talking about things now that didn't exist before. Where do you buy an HP computer now? Do you have to go to Dubai? You have to go to Computer Village? No. I can order it online and get all the specs, and I don't have to argue with somebody. Guess what? When I even need support for that HP computer, I don't have to call someone in Nigeria. I can call someone in the UK, in the US. I can deal with the manufacturer. I don't know if you get what I'm talking about. So now, what is the talent pool you have? Have you even defined for somebody to work with me in this business? These are my own strengths. These are my own weaknesses. This is what this person must bring. Work patterns. A lot of us want people who will resume at 9 and close at 5. Why? It is, but you know, COVID has let us know that some things can happen in the night. Delivery happened well in the night. It's even better. There's no traffic. Sharp, sharp, you will do at least 40% more. Haulage, night. People found out that, okay, you are a night crawler and you do DoorDash at night. Oh yeah, we'll give you 150 more than we'll give someone else during the day. And the guy will make his money. He's a night crawler anyway. Uber drivers. There are Uber drivers in Lagos who work only at night. They don't work in the morning when you say there is a surge or there's some. No, they stay in their homes now. They spend less fuel, and they say if you make more profit, and the car actually has less stress because you've thought about it. Now, let me give you an example. During COVID, a lot of people couldn't go to the market or didn't want to go to the market. So meat sharing became vegetable delivery. One of the people that suffered during the COVID period were tailors. My tailor called me during COVID. Sir, you have 6 clothes with me. When can I come and deliver them? And I didn't want him to come to my house. So I said, don't deliver them yet. The man said, okay, I must deliver them. So you can pay balance. Can you see now? And I said, okay, don't worry, I'll pay your balance. Just make sure you keep them. So I sent him his balance. The point was, the guy was just saying, I don't have money. I've made your clothes. Can I come and deliver them so that you can owe me? Okay? New knowledge, new skills, new attitude. The impact of the lockdown has been that it has turned some businesses on its head. Let me give you an example. One of the most bankable businesses like 5 years ago, 10 years ago in Nigeria was to have an event center. Do you know why? A church will come and take it every Sunday. And every Saturday, there will be some, event that will, you organize and make money. If you are lucky and the businesses like the place, they will come and have meetings and all of that. Now, I can tell you, if you take an event center business plan to the banks now, they won't approve it. They won't even look at it because of COVID. That's the impact of that lockdown that is long-term on some businesses. So we've looked at people. Let's look at processes. Your processes are usually about your how. How would you do what? Okay? Did you notice that during the COVID lockdown? Now, if you want to stop me, please just raise your hand. I'm going to stop. This is not a radio station. It's interactive, okay? Now, your processes talk about your how. How do you do things? How do we contact you? So some of us switch off our phones at night. So our business is no longer working. Then somebody sees your website from Australia and says, I like this top. And you say, now the top, call me in the morning Nigerian time. The top I'm wearing was gifted to me by a friend. He hardly sells in Nigeria. He makes a particular kind that he says is for the diasporans. They call him, this is summer, they call him in the middle of the night, hi, what's your name? I saw this bit there, and I really like it. Can you send me 4? Can you get it here by, Tuesday next week? We're having a beach party, and I want to be the African guy there. So should he switch off his phone? He has 3 phones. They're always on. And then they call him like that. They say, Demola, my juju is working. Then guess what? It tracks. He will say, could you give me an idea? Who did you see the top on? And he says, Demola. Oh, yeah. He lives in New Jersey, right? He says, yeah, okay, good. And he tells Demola, thank you. Your friend, Rick, bought 4 off me. I'm going to send you 1 as complimentary. I'll talk about it when I'm talking about loyalty management. I'm going to send you 1 as, and that guy wears the new one to the beach party and says, hey, guys, look at it. Really, I don't have this one. I'm going to call him tonight. and they call him, and his phone is never switched. But you don't even answer, and they call you. What has happened with the COVID environment now is that your phone is like your face. That's why on every platform now, your phone number has your picture on it. You don't know whether it's on WhatsApp, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's, if you call me now, most times, if you're on any of those platforms and you've put a picture there, it will show. So, how many touch points do you have? If I cannot reach you on the phone, can I reach you via Twitter? Can I reach you via Instagram? Can I reach you via Viber? Can I reach you via Facebook? How long will that take? What is the standard? Do you know some people put it on Facebook? They'll say this page typically replies within 24 hours. And 72 hours later, you're still wondering what happened to that page. Some people, immediately you send them a hi on WhatsApp. It says, this is a business WhatsApp number. We'll get back to you within the next 1 hour. 2 days later, it has not happened. There is no standard. Now, do you know that during COVID lockdown, something happened? The pharmaceutical industry understood how logistics and distribution works. Somebody is at home, wants vitamin C, vitamin D, wants any drug or anything that is life-saving. And the chemist was just standing there with all the drugs. The pharmacy shop was just there. They realized they needed to partner with distribution companies. So they created phone numbers where people could call them and you would come on behalf of someone and buy. Even if the person didn't have a prescription, you will go to them, pick up their prescription. Even prescriptions became online because I'm going to go to see my doctor, but I could sit on Zoom and tell my doctor I'm coughing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Telemedicine increased by 30%. So if you're a big hospital chain now, you're thinking about an hospital chain and you don't have a telemedical point, you're fooling yourself. If you're doing home care, which is a business that is growing in Nigeria now, assisted care, assisted living, and you don't have webcams to be able to look at what your carers are doing to their, they're not working. We're seeing the invasion of technology as an enabler of business. So my pharmacy is there, right in the middle of the best plot in town. But there's a lockdown. It's not making money and it's carrying drugs. But then just one Okada man that is well trained, knows how to go to the house, empathize. Madam, do you have a prescription? Yes, let me print it out. Please help me get these drugs. And then gets the money and then comes to the pharmacy, takes the drugs, takes it home. And then you're in business. And then the Okada becomes 2. So you have a fleet. What is the quality assurance standard? And what is the regulatory part of this? Are you going to run into any regulatory problems if you did one thing or the other? We have to look at it. Technology now as an enabler, I've talked about it. It's also a differentiator now. If you don't have an order processing and order tracking application now, and you're an online business, you're not doing anything. Technology is a process simplifier now. There's no issue of I don't have cash or I don't have change. I can buy anything. Then, inside platform. What technology does is to take all the brains of all the people in the company and put them. Sir, what technology does is it's an inside platform. It helps you to dimension your data so you can have 2 things. The first is decision support. Decision support is what Emmanuel Silva was trying to talk about just last week, saying, okay, so you want to take a decision. You want to invest in buying a car for your laundry business. Show me the data that supports buying a car for laundry? How many of your business supporters, how many of your customers ask you to come and deliver or pick up? Do you serve consumers who have only 2-3 shirts, or you launder for Nigerian breweries or UCH, meaning you need to have a bulk? Data will allow you to support your business with impassionate, dispassionate facts and figures, rather than church every Sunday. So you borrow money from a bank and you say it's going to give you. I have a younger brother who is a very crazy fellow. He bought a car. He bought, what is it called? What do you guys call? Toyota Camry. And you guys call muscle. He bought it and he changed his job, and the new company gave him a new car. But he told himself he would never take that car home. That is, if he takes him home, the driver will come and park it at the office. So you know what my brother used to do? He used to work for one of the electricity distribution companies in Lagos. He would bring his Camry to the office and then give an Uber driver to drive that car. And he will then start using the office car. He'll use that till 7 when he finishes for the day. And his Uber driver knew he had to be there by 7. And they were sharing the money. So people will say, why are you using your car? I say, how can I drive from my house to my office in 25 minutes and I park this car and then it is there while I can make money from it? And you know, almost on a daily basis, he was making 7,000 naira from the car. Cash flow. Cash flow. You see, profit is king. Cash flow is pope, is what is law. Emperor. See, cash flow is what makes you say, well, we're not making profit, but we're in business. Profit is what makes you jump and say, we made money. And then your bill say, really? Or new business investment will say, really? Cash flow is king. Now, why did Yemi do that? Suddenly realized, and it geofenced the car. The guy must be around the Ikeja. If he leaves the Ikeja, the car will shut down. Simple. So the point I'm trying to make is the kind of insight you have will tell you how to behave. And then you can use technology. The only reason why Yemi could do that was because there was technology available for him to monitor his driver and even know how much the driver was making. It's as simple as that. Then organizational knowledge. A lot of us don't know how organizations work. Some of us believe that organizations work like this. Part of the problems that people run into, especially when they think about cash flow, is to think that organizations pay like human beings. And if I do the work for them today, they will pay me tomorrow. Really? There are organizations that ask you to sign an agreement that you will give them 90 days credit. There are organizations that say you must give them what? 45 days. If you work for Nigerian breweries, 45 days. Guinness, 45 days. MTN, depending on what you do. A lot of the oil companies, 90 days. So you, who is a small or medium scale enterprise, those are the places you want to get into, right? You want to be able to say, I supply Shell, I supply this, I supply that. But you don't understand the way they work. You then tell yourself, I want to supply them. Then you make the clothes and supply them. And they tell you, you get paid in 90 days. You're like, that's 3 months. And you flip. You've got to be careful. All right, so change drivers. What data do you have about your customers? Demographics, spend, preferred touch points. Remember, about contactless delivery. Then advertising channels. Advertising channels. A lot of people spend money on advertising. And they don't understand that the people they're trying to advertise to may not be on the advertising medium they're using. So you spend money on advertising, but it's money down the drain. How many people click on it? Then how many people buy? Conversion rate. Marketing. Right now, from product or service development now, we must be thinking about the impact of COVID on product and service development. What distribution channels would we use? What distribution channels would we use? Do you want to hawk it? Even people who make Iru, locust beans, they're now packaging it well. Do you know I now have bushmeat delivered to my house? They don't have me come there again, but I want to stop so that I don't eat everything that is supposed to be on the Nigerian channel of Nat Geo Wild. Because that's what my children are accusing me of. Dad, we're going to eat everything in Nigeria that should be on Nat Geo Wild. Distribution channel is very important now. Have you noticed that everything is becoming app-based? It's even moved from the website now to your phone. Before, you used to be able to do a few things on the website of the company. Now, you can do it on an app on your phone. The app is almost a distribution channel for anything now. Then what is your service model? Cloud or retail? Cloud or what? Do you want to open shops? Even fast food shops are now realizing you have to just create a big warehouse where you churn out the meat pies and then bring trucks, refrigerated trucks where you take it out. You can't have production areas everywhere. It's like you're being a tailor now or a fashion house and you want to have production hubs everywhere. It doesn't make sense. In terms of scale, in terms of investment, it doesn't make sense. You would have to optimize a central point that you can scale. So cloud versus retail. Would you buy your own server now? Or you do cloud? Or you get somebody who understands it? What about pricing? We've talked about it, so I'm not going to waste time because I want us to do some work. Distribution strategy now. Do you want to invest in your own distribution network? It is pretty expensive. Do you want to be company owned? Do you want to have a retail footprint? Do you want to create small shops? Have you noticed that even Chicken Republic is doing Pie Express? Meaning, let's bring all the small things that people just want to buy without sitting down. Let us bring it out so that you can buy those and you can just go on your way. What do you want your retail footprint to be like? Do you want to create a small but effective website? And then have third parties help you deliver? What will be the point of sale? At what point would you collect money? Payment on delivery or payment via a website? Which one will assure you of revenue? Because revenue assurance is key. Point of sales, point of delivery. What will happen at the point of delivery? How would you package it to make sure that it is COVID compliant? Advertising. Are you going to use a net, a hook, a fish line, or a trawler? A net is, I am selling bread. So maybe, just maybe, somebody is hungry. Maybe, right? Somebody is what? That's a net. You are just casting a net. A hook is knowing that there are bachelors living here who don't have pots of soup and parading that place. Say, your money bread, this is hot bread. And they know I have butter. But actually, a hook is put to a line. You create a value proposition. That is the line. And then you then sell the hook to people online. Text messages to people who you have been able to narrow down and say, let me give you an example. Now, people who do Forex, they won't tell you they want to sell you a trading program on Forex. They'll say, would you like to be financially independent? That's the hook. There's a line beside it, behind the hook. But the hook is, what would you do if you didn't have to work for money? That's the hook. The net is Demola Forex. Maybe it might interest you. Most times it's just there. It's a waste of money. The fish line is if I can create multiple value propositions. I make Asha okay. I make it with, I can do one with t-shirts. I can mix it with jeans. I can make it contemporary. So it's a fish line. And then there is the trawler. The trawler is, once you do one thing, you are in my net. Let me give you an example. How many of you go to Konga or Jumia now and click on 3 or 4 computers? I can assure you that once you go back to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you start seeing advertisements on what? On computers. They even send you mails on computers. All right? So customer insights that we need to look at. Web habits, social media usage. Let me even check where I am now because, well, very good. We're getting close to work now. We'll have to take a lunch break. Now, once I finish with this, I'll come back. Okay. So customer insight, web habits. There are a lot of data warehoused by the big companies about your habits that you don't know. You know, your iPhone knows how much time you spent on it. Not to talk of the people who own it. They know when you danced with it, when you caressed it. How much time you spent on social media. Those of you who use iPhones, you know, it gives you a summary. Then what are your basic needs? What are your customers? What is their basic need? What is also their safety need? What do they want to give them comfort that doing business with you does not expose them to either COVID or any other thing? And then what are ancillary needs? So I'm a father. I want to buy something. And I want to make sure that there is no side effect for my children from. How do I reassure anybody who is doing business with me that we are thinking about you? Okay. All right. I've been told we need to have a lunch break. You people are either quiet because I'm saying nonsense or quiet because I'm forcing you to think. Which one is it? Sorry? You must think about all of this because your business may have changed to a degree where it is no longer a business. Maybe it should be an NGO now. Yes. Or your business may have changed to a point where you need to send your new articles to the CAC saying, this is now what we do, not we said we were doing before. Quite frankly, my consulting firm now makes more money online, speaking online, than interacting with people. Yes. And if you can come up with unique propositions, you will make money from it. You'll be sustainable. You'll be able to tell people this is the number of lives I've impacted than just waiting for something else to happen. Okay? So we're going to take a break. I don't know how long that break is. About 30 minutes for lunch. And after that, we'll come back. I assure you that when we come back, just 2 more slides and we'll start to do pest analysis. Pest analysis will allow you to do a bit of the things that SWOT will not allow you to. Like look at the legal framework and look at politics. Have you noticed that SWOT is silent on politics? The political environment, we must take it into cognizance. So that's what I'm going to use today. I'm sure you enjoy it when we come back. Thank you, everyone. Can we I have to watch the video again. Let me thank everybody for being here. We're going to take a 30-minute break. I just want to get him something to eat and the other speakers something to eat so that we can get enough energy to come back. There are drinks being sold across the road. There's a lady, in the pool side, and there's a lady out there who sells food. Unfortunately, our caterer hasn't officially started work. Having challenge, stuff that happens with whatever you might need. Two things I want to, Pastor Lumide showed us a video at the beginning of this meeting. Hello? Okay. I was showing a video. Okay. Two things I want us to leave here with. He showed us a video at the beginning. I've asked him to send me the link so I can share it with you. Number one, strategy is making decisions. That's what it is. Strategy is making decisions. You have to leave here today with a decision. And number two, what is going to make my customer happy so that they can come and buy from me? That's the second thing you must leave here with today, which is why we need to do this workshop. Number one, I must make a decision about direction of my business. If I've been shooting my arrows in many directions, I need to be more focused. And number two, how do I make my customers happy so that in spite of what is happening, they'll still buy from me and they'll pick my products. One of the reasons why he said it that we wanted to do this workshop was because we found out that teaching people how to go online, teaching people how to have websites, teaching people how to have e-commerce and centralized businesses didn't translate into real success. Because we found out that these basic things we're talking about were lacking. People just didn't know what they were doing. And so they just, some people even thought online is just a physical relocation. And it's not. There's a lady who told me one time, I want to launch my online business in your facility on a Monday. And I said, nobody cares where you are when you launch online facilities. Nobody cares where you're physically located. So please just we're going to take a 30 minutes break and then we'll be here at 2 o'clock and we're going to start at 2 on the dot. So it's already 1:30. And if you do need anything, like I said, my staff at the pool bar will be able to help you out to get whatever you might need. So thank you very much. And we'll see you in 30 minutes.